Hey, what's happening, guys? This is James, and welcome to another edition of Stare Down MMA TV. In this edition, we're going to focus on the UFC on FX debut, which was tonight, live in Nashville at the Bridgestone Arena. It featured the main event of Melvin Guillard versus Jim Miller to see who's going to get back into 155-pound title contention. It was a great card, and I have to admit it's one that I had to eat my words on. I remember when I got the postscript to see the card prior to the event. It wasn't difficult for me to get totally excited about it, but I thought that since it was the debut event for the FX channel, that it would have been slightly more high profile. I'm not saying that Melvin Guillard and Jim Miller are not high profile or top flight fighters, because they are. They're both amazing competitors. I just thought that there might have been, I don't know, something extra or something since it was the first one on FX. Totally had to eat my words on it though, because it ended up being an absolutely awesome event. The main event delivered as advertised. I'll go ahead and run through the results real quick, and then I'll touch on a couple of hot points at the end of it. Well, first off, on the preliminaries, we had Nick Denis, and he defeated Joseph Sandoval by KO in the first round. Then we had Daniel Pineda. He defeated Pat Schilling by a submission rear naked choke in the first round. Then we had Fabricio Camoes. He defeated Tommy Hayden by rear naked choke submission also in round one. And then the Spaniard, Charlie Brenneman, took on Daniel Roberts, in which he was victorious in a unanimous decision. Then we have Khabib Nurmagomedov. He defeated Kamal Shaloris, say that 10 times fast, by submission, also by rear naked choke in round three. That was a great fight, actually. And then Jorge Rivera, said he called it a career when he defeated Eric Red Schaefer by TKO. Strikes round two. He's going to go ahead and hang the gloves up, but he's doing it on his own terms. He put forth a great performance and a great fight. That wrapped up the prelims, and then we moved over to the FX channel, to where we started off with the main card. And great, and one of the biggest surprises of the evening was the Pat Barry versus Christian Moorcraft fight. Man, what a scrap that was. Moorcraft actually had Barry in a lot of trouble, but Barry ended up defeating Moorcraft when he knocked him kind of silly and was able to pound him out on the ground. So that all happened within one round, too. There was a lot of action in a very short amount of time. It was a great fight. Then we had Mike Easton. He defeated Jared Papazian by majority decision, the only two to go the distance for the whole 10 fights, which was great. I love finishes. Then we had the Dennis Josh Neer defeated Dwayne Bang Ludwig by submission. He went through a guillotine choke and got him in the first round. So that was pretty awesome, and that led into the headlining event, which was Jim Miller versus Melvin Guillard. As we all know, last year, actually the last couple of years, has been pretty much taken up by Gray Maynard and Frankie Edgar as far as staying at the top of the lightweight division. It wasn't until they were able to conclude their trilogy of fights that the 155-pound division could move forward with a little bit more momentum. Jim Miller, he was the top guy in the first half of last year. He was Dana's top guy. He said a few harsh words about the WEC guys before he got matched up against Benson Henderson. And of course, we all know what happened then. Ben Henderson was able to pummel him pretty much for the entire fight, and he made a pretty loud statement there that the WEC guys were of equal quality of many of the UFC fighters. But just getting back to the whole title picture, you also had Melvin Guillard wasn't really too far behind Jim Miller as far as trying to make his case for a title shot until he ran into Joe Lozon. That kind of surprised everybody when Lozon was actually able to stun Guillard with that jab, and we all know what happened after that. So it was actually, you had two guys that were coming off of losses, pretty big losses, which sets it up for a lot of tension at least. I believe that whoever won the fight between Miller and Guillard is definitely being considered for title contention now. We know that Ben Henderson and Frankie Edgar are going to get it on at UFC 144 Japan, so we'll see who wins that one. That's going to be an awesome fight. I'm never really one to bet against Frankie Edgar, because he always seems to pull out a victory in the jaws of defeat, but I am actually leaning a little bit more towards Ben Henderson on that fight, so we'll see what ends up transpiring out of that. But anyway, just thought I'd throw out a few thoughts about the UFC on FX1. It's a great card. If they keep continuing to produce these top quality, high quality events, I think the fans are really going to eat this up and just solidify that them signing their deal with Fox was, arguably the best decision or the best thing to ever happen to the Ultimate Fighting Championship. But I hope you guys have a great night. I'll see you in the next episode. Rock on.